Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
1 second. Okay, welcome everyone to my blind reaction to episodes 11 and 12 of High Score Girl. And you may be really fucking confused right now. I just finished my reaction to this week's episode of Mob Psycho 100. It's season 2. Go watch that. You'll fully understand why I just had to slap myself. High Score Girl. Yeah. Please be nice. Please be happy. Please. Last time around, I don't remember what happened. I'm sorry, my mind's kind of fried right now. What happened in the last episode? Oh, yeah, wait, what? Our main character, Haruo, entered high school. He's not in the same high school as Ono, which kind of felt cheap and just completely out of left field that didn't happen. Him and Ono have kind of grown apart because of it. The other girl is much cuter than ever, and she's gotten much better and kind of sassy about it. And Haruo's just trying to get back into things. He's been only doing console gaming lately, so he's trying to get back into arcades and stuff, and it's like he's still thinking about Ono. I don't know where this is going. I don't know where these final 2 episodes are going. I really apologize. I don't know if you're watching this before or after Mob Psycho. Both are Sunday. I don't know what you're watching in what order. I don't even know if you watch my Mob Psycho reactions, for those of you who watch this. I really, really fucking apologize. I'm recording this Thursday, and I guess I posted on Twitter and on Discord and stuff. I guess the best way to put it is I'm not okay. I'm not okay after that episode of Mob Psycho. I'm just really not okay right now. So I really need to get to these reactions. I'm so far behind this week with pre-recording. So it's just like, I need to get to this. And this is the final 2 episodes of High Score Girl as well. I'll be posting a separate video on what will replace it. But, yeah. I'm just really hoping that this ends in some happy way. I'm hoping that this goes well. Because I need something to pick me up right now. I am just so out of it. And when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play, because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward is my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'll see you at the reaction. Yeah. Yeah. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, this ending was honestly disappointing. I'm not as disappointed. I mean, I would have liked to see Haruo and Ono have a kiss. But I'm not as disappointed with that, because it's very clear of their love for each other. I'm more disappointed by this final episode. I feel it was completely unnecessary. Well, okay, I should clarify that I feel the parts with Hidaka were unnecessary. I like Hidaka as a character. I legitimately do. But this stuff with her confessing her love to him and they're kind of wrapping up that thing, I don't think it was needed. I think everything with her interest in him and everything was as it needed to be. I think having her remain kind of admiring him from the background while she understood that he didn't love her, I think would have made it a lot better. This entire concept of having their rematch with the idea that if she wins, they go out, I don't like that. And not just because I ship him more with Ono. I think it actually is completely unnecessary and just... It makes the ending really confusing. Especially since his reaction is just kind of staring at her with a slightly open mouth, just kind of shocked and taking it all in. It kind of implies this romantic love triangle, and I don't like love triangles. And if this is how it's going to end, there being clear romantic chemistry between him and Ono, and I guess you could say, the romantic chemistry between him and Hideka being completely one-sided, it doesn't feel right. Again, it's one-sided. So having it end on that note actually really sours it up. I feel it would have been better if maybe it ended rather on him and Ono. Like, the last thing we see of him and Ono in this episode are, of course, them having doing the picture and her headbutting him. I think if it ended on that, or maybe showing them continuing to walk home together, maybe even just another shot of them holding hands, that would have been great. Having all of that extended, getting rid of the entire random-ass side plot with Hideka in this last episode. I just feel it really makes the overall ending confusing to have that part in there. I mean, it really confuses what it's trying to go for. Everything has been building up to him and Ono. The last episode with Ono having run away from home and everything, and him having to find her and all. Them sharing the hotel room together. Even when he's like, he goes away to work and everything, and comes back to see her waiting for him and smiling and all happy like and stuff. Everything, even before these episodes, in the entirety of this series, has been building those two. Hideka kind of came in as kind of this challenger, like a new challenger approaches kind of thing. But she never stood a chance because it was always one-sided. He never showed even the slightest bit of interest in her. Having the series end this way, and maybe there will be a season 2, but having even just the season end this way feels so disingenuous. It just feels like they tacked it on just because they wanted to add a little bit into Hideka's story in the end. Honestly, everything with Ono felt rather much more like an ending. Everything after that felt like a completely unnecessary addition to the ending. And that's my big problem with this. My only real problem with these final 2 episodes. Because it almost feels like it's trying to push this love triangle that no one would want. And that the story itself doesn't want. The story itself, everything is pushing only him and Ono. There is no precedence for him and Hideka. Trying to push this love triangle, trying to push this idea of her and him being a thing at the end here, is so out of place with everything else this series has done. I just feel like it made no sense to have that there. It just made no sense. And the only kind of resolution we get with Ono as well is like, oh, she was brought home, she wasn't punished as severely as she could have been, but nothing was actually fixed. And presumably she's going to be stuck in there for the rest of high school, not able to escape from that kind of prison that her abusive parents and that, I guess, I don't even know how I would describe her. She's not a maid, not a trainer. I don't know. That bitch, I mean, honestly, if we're being honest, that fucking bitch, it's abuse. It is straight up fucking abuse. I'm sorry, but here's the thing. Yes, as parents, you should be raising your kids, and you should be training them and teaching them on how to succeed and just live in the world. Sure. But trying to control their lives, control what they do, who they hang out with, who they marry, especially, is fucking disgusting. It is straight up child abuse to control your child to that level. To try and control their lives to such a degree where they have no time for themselves or for others, where you're trying to marry them off to someone because it'll help your company or your family status or whatever shit like that. It pisses me the fuck off. Ono's character has been this tragic character throughout the entire series because of this, because of her family, because of this bitch. And none of it's given any resolution. And I get it. There's more to the story. There's more to the manga. Sure. But we don't know if we're getting a season 2. And some people will go on the defensive for this kind of thing, saying, "Oh, the anime is just an advertisement for the manga, anyways. If you really want to see the full story, you should just read the manga." And that's fucking bullshit, and you should just shut the fuck up if you truly believe that. Anime is not an advertisement for the manga. Just like a movie adaptation of a book isn't just an advertisement for the book. That is not how it works. It is an adaptation. There is a difference. An adaptation is meant to portray the story in a different medium. It is not an advertisement for this original medium. You are supposed to be able to watch or whatever the adaptation on its own merits and see it for as it is. If a series comes across, if an anime comes across as just an advertisement for a manga, it's a failure as a piece of media. It is its sole job to entertain the viewer. And it does not entertain the viewer if it feels like it's just advertising for something else. You should not have to read the manga to get the full story. And here's the thing. If it doesn't get a second season, I can understand why. Not every anime can. Some anime aren't able to. But if they had to have been, to have this kind of ending, with it being so open-ended without actually resolving any of the big conflicts, the only way to make this work is if they know they're getting another season. And if there is a second season coming, if that does end up being the case, that's great. But they would have to know that already for this ending to be in any kind of way good or okay. For example, My Hero Academia Season 3's ending was pretty open-ended. It introduced some new characters at the very end, introduced some new concepts, and was not really resolved in a lot of ways. There were a lot of things that were left unresolved. There was some new stuff with the bad guys introduced as well. But the thing is, we knew as we were watching that, even with it without it having been announced until the very end of the episode, the final episode, we knew there was going to be a season 4 because of how popular the series is. The series is so popular, it's made such huge waves that it's gotten celebrations and stuff for it. It got this big theatrical release movie over in Japan that was this massive deal that they made such a huge event out of. So yeah, we knew that there was going to be a 4th season. It was super obvious. But High Score Girl isn't one of those shows that has that level of hype surrounding it. I've heard a lot of people say good things about it. There's even one reviewer on YouTube who's called it his favorite anime of 2018. And that's awesome. But the thing is, overall, there's not that much hype surrounding the series. So it's unclear if it will get a season 2. I don't think it necessarily did badly, but it's unclear now. We don't know. And with an ending like that, it's so open and doesn't resolve some of the biggest issues. It just feels like it would have been better for them to take an anime-only route and an anime original ending to it. Because the way they left this open-ended just felt really off. Now, don't get me wrong. It would have felt really off as well if they tried to resolve the entire situation with Ono's family. If they tried to make it like her parents just suddenly understood, or this bitch of a woman suddenly understood and were okay with it, that would have felt forced as hell. But that doesn't mean that what they did was okay. That doesn't mean it was a good choice. There should have just been something else. And again, having the entire thing with Hidaka at the end felt completely forced and unnatural. It felt completely unnecessary and just kind of hurt the overall feeling of the ending. Just overall, I think that this ending was really subpar for what was a great series. And especially everything that was leading up to... And again, it was mostly just the end of the episode and the fact that it didn't resolve so much and had that ridiculously unnecessary stuff with Hidaka. Everything before it in this episode, which was like... let me see here if I can find it here. I still have the window up, so... The first 13 and a half minutes of this episode, out of a total of about 25 minutes. So basically, the first half, pretty much. The first half of the episode was phenomenal. It was great. Everything that was going on with Haruo and Ono was fantastic. But everything after that, everything with Hidaka is where it fell apart. The fact that the entire thing with Ono and her family wasn't actually resolved and nothing actually seemed to come of it. Just the fact that it ended so openly like that is its biggest problem here. And honestly, the biggest problem in the entirety of the series. Because this show is clearly meant to be romantic. It is meant to have a romance part to its genre. Yes, it's a lot more than that. It's slice of life as well. It's comedy as well. It's a lot of stuff. But romance is definitely part of it. And it's always been him and Ono from the very beginning. Even when Ono wasn't there for a couple episodes. It was super obvious she would return at some point. That they would reunite and that they would rekindle their relationship. And that happened. And... again, while I like Hidaka, she almost kind of felt like she was a third wheel in the end. Because she was just kind of... this ending part to this final episode was just kind of thrust in there with no real good reason. She felt like this third wheel that just doesn't matter as a character. Overall, these final two episodes... the search for Ono, which, by the way, the moment when he found Ono, when the music started playing, really did start to get to me. The search for Ono, his night playing games with her in the hotel room, and heading back home, all of that was fantastic, and I loved it. It really felt earned. It felt like it was built up to. It felt like it was, honestly, properly handled. But then the fact that there was no resolution to the build-up, the fact that there was, well, I mean with the build-up with her family and everything specifically. The fact that Hidaka's part at the end was just thrust in there with, again, no real precedence towards it. It hurt the overall finale to this. And made it just feel much less impactful. And even if, again, I'm not even saying that they had to outright confirm him and Ono's relationship. But I think it kind of comes across as very cheap that they didn't at least hint at it more than they did. And they didn't try, and that they tried to, force in Hideka at the end. I'm not going to let that go. It just, it cheapens the entire build-up and everything, the entire importance of him searching for Ono after she ran away. It cheapens all of that, and it really, really sucks because it had so much huge, intense potential. And again, I know that there's more to the series, and I really hope it gets a season 2, because that's the only way at this point that this will be able to work, and the only way that it will end up feeling, well, good again. So I really hope this does get a season 2 eventually. But for now, we move on. So this is the last High Score Girl reaction. We don't have any more. So the question moves into, what will replace it? Now, I said earlier in my pre-thoughts that I was going to just make another video about it, but I've actually changed my mind. I'm going to make another video about it, but you're going to get a preview of the video right here and now at the end of this reaction. Like, right when I sign off, it's going to start another clip of what is coming next. And yeah. I will also post it just as a separate video as well. So in the meantime, thank you all so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie Royal, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time, and enjoy the clip.
And though you've come through many obstacles,